right. If you wanted to do swing dancing in Toronto up until October '96, you had two options. One was you did East Coast Swing with Toronto Swing Dance Society, TSDS. And your other option was that you were a ballroom dancer and you did ballroom jive. And that was it.
1993, I had become a real dance gypsy because I decided that there was so much good dancing everywhere except in Toronto. And so I spent almost every weekend somewhere, like in Boston or Ann Arbor or Maine or wherever, to dance. And then I thought, well, rather than going to all these other different places, why don't I work at building, helping build a dance community in Toronto.
I saw Lindy Hop on video for the first time in the summer of '95, and what I saw was the 1994 Frankie Manning birthday video, which is a whole series of performances from Lindy Hop people from America and Europe. The best person we could bring in the world would be Steve Mitchell. So we asked him to come and start Lindy Hop in Toronto, which was a whole new country because there was no Lindy Hop in Canada at all.
I thought that Toronto wasn't ready for Stephen, but Simon was really excited about it.
And that was the beginning.
Like when the first workshop, when we kept missing something he was trying to teach us, he just turned to the wall where there was a no smoking sign, and he covered up the smoking part with his hands, so just said no, and he said lean against the wall.
I think what's amazing about this dance, I said once you get bitten by the bug, you're bitten for life. It is true. It's something about swing, Lindy Hop that once you start it, you just can't. It's so much fun, but it just becomes addictive like a drug.
Lindy Hop is a street dance. It's a social dance that came out of the black communities in Harlem in the 1920s, and inspired by awesome jazz music, jazz and swing. You've got a lot of different dances that are connected, but Lindy Hop is characterized by the open position where you are only connected one hand each. The follower is right hand into the leader's left, and it opens up. And the swing out starts in open, you come together with your partner, and you break into open again. I think it epitomizes the feeling of the dance. Lindy Hop took on various forms in different places. You got into Hollywood styles, there became a white dance in the movies, and that's what the dance started to look like. And then you had this music, you had all sorts of jump blues taking over, you get Elvis and different characters coming in, and the feeling of the dance really changed until it really wasn't Lindy Hop at all. You got jive, you got all sorts of other dances that came out of there that fit the music a little bit differently. As the music changed, Lindy Hop disappeared altogether for a good 20 years or so until a revival. When people started to rediscover it in the 80s in North America, Stephen Mitchell and Aaron Stevens, this is the famous story, how they accidentally got interested in swing, looked up the famous Frankie Manning, called him up, and found him. He wasn't dancing at all at that point, and they pulled him out, started this whole incredible phenomenon. Frank Manning, he was the first person to throw a girl. He created the air step, the aerial. He was in a dance competition, and they wanted to top the last partner. They had something they'd been trying out, and boom, first aerial was born. No one had seen anything like that at that point. That was Frankie Manning. He was in that way, he's called sort of the father of Lindy Hop. He was the man.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? All right.
They contacted me, about coming up here to Toronto, and I agreed, and I came up and I did a few workshops.
This is what I mean by swing out. Music.
And at the time, I met the mayor, and she gave me a proclamation,
Yeah.
and she said, well, this is Frankie Manning Day. I forget what day it was, whatever.
People liked that workshop, right? And we were able to sort of get people excited because to understand a bit who he was, right? This is someone who had created swing dance in the 1930s and had done, performance-wise, probably the best swing dance performances ever done in history.
I'm dancing, but I want to treat her gently. And I don't like to, I don't want to like to do this thing like this. No, I just lightly. As I say, she's a queen, so I'll bow down to her.
Well, I feel wonderful to be able to, at this stage of the game, to be able to teach the youngsters who I kind of find are kind of eager, to learn the history of these dances, to learn the history of a step, to learn the history of, whole cultural dance, the dance as a whole. And I find it very inspiring. I mean, most of the kids, they tell me, say, well, Frankie, you inspired me so much. But when I see them out there dancing, smiling, having a good time, they really inspire me, to say, well, wow, right, they're out there having such a good time.
It must have been over 200 people. It was huge. And they put, publicity stunts all over the place, and so they got the room just absolutely packed. But it didn't stick, really.
People would come to the workshops, and a lot of the people who came they didn't get bitten by it. A lot of the stage dancers, they could do all the moves, they were great, but they weren't into partner connection at all.
But a little core group of us was, and we formed the first ever Toronto Lindy Hop group.
There was a small group of dancers called the Hogtown Hep Cats. I had a performance group. We'd go and support musicians and dance to them so that people could see what it's like.